Lebanon, and as you can see in this picture, this is a view from the airplane. Here is the city, the capital Beirut, and these rocks are the most famous images of Beirut, and they're called the Rawsha rocks. Let's have an overview. Lebanon, the name, it's derived from the Phoenician word, which is white mountains. So in Lebanon, there is a lot of snow, and some mountains, the snow is there all year round. Although Lebanon is a small country in the Middle East, the total land area is 10,452 kilometers square, and the population is around 5.5 billion. And the official language is Arabic, and of course, every Lebanese people speak French and English. Where is Lebanon on the map? You can see it's in the Middle East. So it's in the eastern side of the Mediterranean Sea. We have borders with Syria in the north and the east, and Palestine in the south. So what to expect, the landscape and the climate in Lebanon? We have 4 distinct physiographic regions. We have the coastal plain along the Mediterranean Sea, and we have 2 chain of mountains, Mountain Lebanon and Anti-Lebanon mountains. And between these 2 chain of mountains, there is the Bekaa Valley, and 73% of Lebanon is covered by mountains, and the highest peak is Unit al-Sauda, which is 3,088 meters. We have a lot of rivers, and we have a Mediterranean climate, so we have warm summers, and we have rainy winter. Lebanon had its independence in 22 November 1943, and this is our national flag. It was adopted in 7 December 1943, and the national symbol of Lebanon is the cedar. It's called Cedrus Libani, and it was mentioned several times in ancient books and in the Bible as well. And so to explain a bit about the flag, so the white color represents the snow, the peace and purity. The red, of course, is for the blood of the martyrs, because we had a lot of wars. And the cedar is symbol of holiness, eternity, and prosperity. Now, religion in Lebanon, we have 18 different religious sects. Of course, we have Christianity, Muslim, Jewish, but in Christianity there is a lot, in Muslim as well. And as the Pope John Paul II said, Lebanon is more than a country. Lebanon is the message of fraternity. So you can see in Lebanon, in the same village, you can have both religion, and they live together. My colleagues in university, they was from very different religion, and yeah. And this is in Beirut. This is a mosque for Sunni, and this is a cathedral for Catholic. The Lebanese parliament, in a nutshell, it's monocameral, so we have just one chamber. We have deputies, and we people elect these deputies, and the deputies will then elect the president of the republic. And these deputies, the mandate is for 4 years, and for the president is 6 years. Beirut, other than it is the capital of Lebanon and the largest city in Lebanon, Beirut is one of the oldest cities in the world. And the name of Beirut is from the Canaanite name, Beirut, which refers to underground water table. And 3,500 years ago, Beirut was mentioned in Egyptian letters. And here in this picture, we can see they are Roman baths. It's 4 Roman baths in the city center of Beirut. And unfortunately, it's unfortunately, but at the same time, a good thing maybe about the Lebanese spirit, that Beirut was destroyed and rebuilt 7 times during 5,000 years of history. Another oldest city in Lebanon is Byblos. It's also on the coast on the Mediterranean Sea, and it's one of the oldest continuously inhabited towns in the world. And it's a major Asian seaport. And archaeology have found can assure that Neolithic people were living in Byblos, and the Phoenician alphabet was developed at Byblos, and in Byblos there is the Procedure Castle. You can visit it now, and here we can see now it's like this in Byblos. There's a lot of restaurants. You can have boat trip. Another quote I really like, it's you have your Lebanon and its dilemma. I have my Lebanon and its beauty. It's Gibran Khalil Gibran, one of the most Lebanese American writer, and his famous book was The Prophets. It was translated to a lot of languages. So this is maybe the the spirit of my presentation. Throughout this presentation, I will show you a lot of stuff you can do in Lebanon, the nature, archaeological stuff. Temple of Bacchus. It's a Roman god. He's the god of wine. So this temple is in Baalbek, in north of Lebanon, and wine making in Lebanon dates like from ancient times. And in this temple, we have like Baalbek International Summer Festivals, and we host a lot of international musicians, bands, etc. For example, Shal Aznavour was on the stage, and a lot more other musicians. Jaita Grotto is a cave. It's one of the biggest caves in the Middle East. It connects two caves. We have like the upper cave and the lower cave. The upper cave is the one that we see in this picture. There is water. You cannot visit it by foot. You have to take like a boat to be able to visit it. And the lower cave, you can visit it by foot. And it's like we say that here the prehistoric people used to live. And Sidon Sea Castle is it's in the south of Lebanon. It's like you can see in this picture, the castle in the middle of the water, and it was for croisière. And we have Fa'ra. It's also like some Roman ruins, and Fa'ra is also known for its ski resort. It's the biggest, largest ski resort in Lebanon. And we have the Kadisha Valley. It's a valley, like you can see the view. It's like awesome. What's interesting is like back then, the first Christians used to live here, and we have the first monastery as well here, like for Maronite. And we have Anjar. These ruins are from the 8th century. And what's interesting about Anjar, it's on the way for two major trade routes, like from Beirut to Damascus and from two other villages in Syria. And Jounieh, I put this picture just to show you the traditional Lebanese houses. You can see they have their roof, and it's usually like a square house, and inside it's big rooms. And nowadays, unfortunately, this view isn't like this. There's more buildings, but at least like we still have these houses. And this is Nicolas Surso Museum. It's a museum in Beirut, in Ashrafiyeh. And Nicolas Surso was one of the aristocrats of Beirut, so he built this house for himself, and he said that when I want to die, I want it to be a museum. And this museum doesn't have something in particular, it's exhibitions like each 6 months. This is the view from Harissa. Harissa is next to Jounieh when we saw the beautiful Lebanese houses. And there you can, it's really interesting because it's only 15 minutes by car from the coastal. And you can do some hiking to get there, you can go by teleferic, and even you can go up and do paragliding and see the view. Now the Lebanese cuisine. As I already said, like we're in the Mediterranean Sea, so our cuisine is a bit diverse and balanced. Here let's start with the breakfast. Here we can see that it's called manouche. Here there's saim. We can eat it with lebne, which is that kind of yogurt but more like not loose. We eat a lot of course, like cucumbers, tomato, mint, etc. And you can have this dough on top of it with cheese, with meat, or also kishik. It's like a fermented dairy product also we produce. And this is like a bit a heavy breakfast. It's called knefe. It's made with a lot of cheese, and even sometimes you put it in a bread, specific bread. And this is ful mdammas, which is beans with salt and lemon, and also we eat it with a lot of vegetables. Now this is the meza or the meze. Like when you go on a Lebanese restaurant, like you cannot just start with the main dish. You have to have like a bit of everything. So here, like the first one, it's fatouche. It's a lot of vegetables with cucumber, radish, etc. Of course, you know the tabbouleh. It's in the middle, and this is another salad. We call it salatat al-rahib. It's made of eggplants, tomato, and some herbs. And this is like the big picture is kibbeh, which is made like it's like meatballs with burghul. And this is of course hummus. We can eat it with kibbeh together. They're so nice. And we have also baba ghanoush. We have the wine leaves. And then like we eat raw meat. And this is like the kibbeh we saw, but it's raw, so it's meat with burghul, but we eat it raw. There is also kafta, like meat with parsley, liver, and of course you have to drink it with alcohol to kill the bacteria. And this is arak. It's one of the famous Lebanese drink. It's a bit strong, and it's made of grape and anise. And this is like, if you want like the main dish, like maybe when you go to your grandma, you can eat it. We have kafta batata with, it's like mainly kafta meat and parsley with onions, potato, rice. Here we have muhrabiye, it's like dog but in a bowl, with chicken, with chickpeas. Here we have riz al-jaysh, it's like riz and chicken. And here we call it fouere. It's like the intestine of animal. You have to clean it very well, and you put inside rice, meat, and chickpeas. And now let's talk about the dessert in Lebanon. Of course, some desserts are related to some religious ceremonies, like or religious celebration. The first one is called mekhle. We usually serve this when we have a newborn. Like each time we want to go and like say congratulations to the family, they give you this mekhle, and we usually, like as Christian, we do it when during Christmas because Jesus was born. On the top, it's called ma'moul, and usually it's a dough, and inside there is pistachio or dates or walnuts, and this is for like during Easter we have this, and even like for Muslim, like during Ramadan they have this as well. Here on the top, it's called Layali Lebanon. It's like Lebanese night dessert. It's also really tasty. It's made of semolina, cheese, milk, etc. And here, I think most of you have tasted it. It's Halit al-Jabal. And here it's a cake, a very fluffy cake. It's called Sfouf. And some facts about Lebanon to end up with our trip. Lebanon was used to be known as Switzerland of the Middle East because of the bank system back then. And Lebanon, it's the only country in the Middle East that doesn't have a desert, neither camels. And Lebanon had the greatest fragment of ancient Rome outside of Rome. And in Lebanon, you can ski and swim in the same thing.